Welcome back, guys. Today we are back in the shop talking about gear to take with you when you are going camping. Now specifically, I'm going to be talking about car camping or having some kind of vehicle to get to your campsite in this particular video. So stay tuned. Guys, so I want to talk about gear to take with you that a lot of times you don't think about whenever you go car camping, or say you're off-roading or overlanding or something like that, and you're taking a vehicle or some kind of all-terrain vehicle with you to get to where your campsite is. So the gear I'm going to talk about is, again, a lot of stuff that, dang it. All right, guys, and getting started, again, I want to emphasize the gear that I'm talking about is not necessarily gear you're going to carry backpacking or even bugging out. This is going to be gear that you're carrying with you and you're car camping with the family, or you're overlanding, or you have like an ATV or a UTV, something like that, to get to your campsite. So the first thing I want to talk about, and this is and nothing's going to be in any particular order because we got stuff all over the shop in here, as you know. But the first thing I want to talk about is cast iron. Now I'm next to our Lodge display here in the shop, and I want to talk about a few things that I carry with me to make sure that I have a very enjoyable time. Now, if I'm by myself, I can get by with a smaller skillet, and I always carry with me a Dutch oven. Now, cast iron, you can do anything with. As you've seen in past videos, you can bake with it. So far as us cooking breakfast, and we bake biscuits, I've made peach cobblers in them. You can deep fry. You know, you can do all kinds of stuff with cast iron. And if you have a larger group with you, you can get bigger skillets, you can get bigger Dutch ovens, you can get bigger gear to do all kinds of stuff, either directly on the fire or pull coals aside to be able to do your baking or anything like that. So let's move on to our next stuff. Say you don't want to carry something as bulky as the cast iron, but you still want to have a good cook set to be able to cook for multiple people while you're out. So one of the things that I recommend, I want to show you on the side so you can see everything in this. This is from Gerber. This is their camp cook set. Flip it right here. It comes with your stainless steel pot, your stainless steel pan with lids. You have bowls, you have plates, you have a mixing bowl, you even have a cutting board. Something like this packs up really tight. So especially if you're doing overlanding or UTV and ATV, you can carry this, still have plenty of room to carry your other gear, and this not take up as much space. All right, guys. So one thing a lot of people forget about whenever they're going camping, and this is something very important, is a good night's sleep. So I always tell people, remember, either a good sleeping pad, an air mattress, or even a cot like what we have over here. I can't sleep directly on the ground anymore. I ain't in my teens, I'm not in my 20s. So whenever I have to sleep directly on the ground the next day, I feel horrible. And if you're just starting on your camping trip and you did not have a good night's sleep, you're gonna wake up feeling horrible, and the rest of the trip is not gonna be as fun. So, good sleeping pad, or at least a cot, or a good air mattress. All right, guys, so one of the things that I wanna talk about, and this is something that a lot of times people don't think about, especially if you're buying a tent for the first time or you've never been camping before. Upgrade your tent stakes. 90% of the time when you buy a tent, it comes with some very small, dainty tent stakes. Now, some of them come with phenomenal tent stakes, I'm not saying that. But upgrade your tent stakes. I like the ones that are like the big nails, like these. These particular ones glow in the dark so you can see them, so you don't trip over them as easy in the night. But have something big and durable, because whenever you go to drive these in the ground, and it's the cheaper ones, a lot of times they'll bend if they hit a rock, or they don't hold down well, and if a big gust of wind comes through, it ends up pulling them up anyways if the ground's too soft, because they don't go that deep. So upgrade your tent stakes. All right, guys, so the next very important thing, and this is probably one of the most important things I'm going to talk about, is water. Whenever you're going camping, depending on where you're at, you could have access to water where it's flowing, you've got creeks, you've got rivers, you've even got water spigots depending if you're at a campground or not. But a lot of times, if you're going off-roading or overlanding, you might not have water in those areas, in that specific spot that you're at, to be able to, where you're camping, to have water access. So a lot of people will carry gallon jugs or some other form of like cases of bottled water, things like that. The problem is like with cases of water, those can be very fooling on how much water you're actually going to use. A case of water, if you're cooking with it, if everybody's drinking it, will go out really, really fast. Gallon jugs, even though they're very convenient and don't take up a lot of room, are not durable. So if you drop it, or it could get punctured very easily, and then you've lost your water. So one of the things I tell people is get something like these water bricks that stack on top of each other, and you're able to store water. You can get it right out of the spigot at your house, so it is eco-friendly. But you can also stack these and put 3 or 4 or 5 of them there and be able to carry water with you, strap it down. You don't have to worry about it moving around, and you have it with you. And these are very durable, so you don't have to worry about them getting punctured easy, or if you drop it, them busting easy. And I'm gonna go back to camp cooking for a second, is depending on where you're at, some places don't have fire pits, some places don't have picnic tables or anything like that. Say you're way off in the woods somewhere. Carry a small stove. Now this one's butane, so this is a single burner, but you can do so much stuff with a single burner stove. You can put cast iron on it, you can fry, you can grill, you can do just about everything you need to do with that one stove on cooking every meal that you need to, and the butane lasts a while. But say you want to do some grilling, one of the things that a lot of people like doing also is getting one of these little pack-up camp grills. So you're able to grill out also. In conjunction with the butane stove, you can have like pots boiling pasta or whatever it is on the stove, and then you can also be grilling chicken or whatever on your grill. And both of those pack up very small and very compact, to where you can put them under a seat or inside a tote to carry that all your food items are in. Also, something a lot of people don't think about when they go out is staying clean. A little portable solar shower like this right here, very handy item to be able to fill up with water by the creek or one of the spigots, and it'll warm up in the sun, and you're able to stay clean while you're out. You don't want to be stinking the whole time you're out there. All right, guys, another item that a lot of people don't think about carrying with them, but it's very important, is a small shovel. Especially if you were out camping and you build a fire. You need to be able to maintain your fire, being able to scoop dirt, make sure it's put out well. But also, if you're Dutch oven cooking or pulling coals out, you have the ability to scrape coals out. Also, if you have to go use the bathroom and you did not bring something to go in, a shovel is going to make it really, really easier than having to do that with a stick. All right, guys, so one of the things I want to talk about, and this is something that a lot of people don't think about when they go out camping for the first time, or even camping hundreds of times like I've been. In the wintertime, my knuckles will crack because they're so dry. My lips get chapped really bad in the summer and the winter, especially if I get too hot and I'm in the sun all day. My lips get very chapped. Taking care of yourself just in that way is going to make your trip a lot more enjoyable. So having lotions, having lip balm, and things that are going to make you a little bit more comfortable, especially car camping. Make it to where it's an enjoyable trip. Don't dread it. So take care of yourself. All right, guys, I want to talk about the last couple things, but I'm not going to show anything specific because we have this throughout the whole store. First thing is a good fixed blade knife. Doesn't have to be anything huge, but I carry a good fixed blade knife with me every time I go camping or in the woods. It is a versatile tool. Also, a small camp axe or hatchet to be able to process firewood, to chop away anything that might be in your way, debris, anything like that at your campsite to help clean it up. Also, a good camp saw. A good camp saw, you're not going to expend as much energy whenever you're processing firewood, especially if you are out overlanding or ATVing and you want to be able to process out some good firewood. The last thing, and a lot of people don't think about this, is a good multi-tool. A good multi-tool is so versatile at the campsite, from taking things on and off the fire to being able to take a hook out of a fish's mouth. So guys, we have a ton of items here at the Knife Shop and Survival Outpost to get you outside, to get you camping, to get you set up, whether it's your first time camping or if you want to upgrade your gear. So come by, see one of our friendly staff that is very knowledgeable in all of the outdoors. So guys, get outside, have an adventure, and God bless.